Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Seetal and you're watching Seetal and D. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're gonna set the tone for our brand. How do you set the tone for your brand? How is it that you can create something that people can relate to time and time again and for years and years to come? So without wasting any more time, let's get into today's video. When it comes to company values, that you need to think about different tones of voices, because when you're selling a product, you need to always convey the same feeling, the same language that the customer understands from your brand. If your brand has an aesthetic of minimal, serene, clean tone, it must always convey that. It's just like McDonald's, for instance. It's always going to be yellow and red, and it's going to be the same McDonald's wherever you are. McDonald's in different parts of the world can be different from each other because their target customers eat different things. For instance, McDonald's in India has got lots of vegetarian burgers, hardly any chicken burgers, and they will not sell beef burgers. At McDonald's in Malaysia, you've got them selling rice dishes because rice is in Malaysia. So it's still the same aesthetic, the same thing, it's still fast food because of how McDonald's conveys its message through logo and colors and tone of voice. Let's talk about different tone of voice. So there's historical. So let's say it was Hermes. This little black dress was made with a timeless design and it has this timeless feel to it. When it's historical, you need to have that timeless, something that was created years ago, even if it's something that you created today. And if you want it to have that historical feel, you can say that as a creator, I love anything that was created back in the 1800s. I love the silhouettes of empire waistline dresses, the royalness of the clothing back then, like whatever it is. But you as someone behind the brand, if you like historical things, then you must make sure that to communicate with your customers. Next, let's think of the little black dress again. You could give it a contemporary feel by saying this modern black dress is the only black dress you will ever need. It will never go out of style. That would make you look expensive and take you from work to your dinner date seamlessly. Now let's think about the black dress again in a more casual manner. This black dress is perfect for work on a Friday because Friday is usually casual work day. Now let's give it a sustainable feel. So let's say you're selling this little black dress and you want it to feel sustainable. This little black dress was made from 100% natural materials, and you can say whether it's cotton, linen, hemp. That's one way of making the same black dress sounding historical to now sustainable. Now let's talk functional. So if your brand wants to have a functional use, you can say this little black dress is made from all jersey fabric, which knit fabric, and will keep you nice and cool during the summer, and it's very breathable and easy to wash in the washing machine. And lastly, if your brand is all about being affordable, you can say something like, you don't have to break the bank to own a really nice little black dress. This little black dress can be styled in many ways, more than just one way, and then you show them options how to style it, workwear to a dinner date. If it's something that you struggle with, it's definitely something I struggle with. I don't know how much to talk about a brand or how much I should withhold. How much do my people want to know? You can get a copywriter to help you do this part of the work. So you can hire copywriters for quite cheap on something like Upworks or Fiverr. And another point I want to give you is, if you've ever heard of Canva Pro, is one thing I use. So it's a really cheap yearly subscription. I think it's about 100 something Australian dollars. But then you get to do many things with Canva Pro. You can come up with templates of certain colors. That they have templates of brands where the colors are put together, and then you can just choose that for the time being, because initially you might want to make a mood board of your brand and aesthetic that you're going for, and Canva is just the best place to do this because it has a lot of those pictures and things that you can use, and royalty free too. And another thing is creating websites. So I know a lot of people, when they talk about branding and coming up with their brands, they always think about creating a website. So you need to create a website to sell your stuff, but initially I would say hold off starting your website. Your website can be the last thing you start. You need your business plan and everything in place first, and then starting a website can be done later. And A lot of places like Squarespace and Shopify, they allow you to start your brands, your online shops with them, and then they make it easier with their user interface to start your own brand. But I would say it is better to hire a professional to do your website, because there are a lot of things to consider when you're doing your website, like speed and whether it will crash. For now, just leave thinking about your website later. We will come to it together. Now, when it comes to colors, how do you know what color goes well with what? I have studied the color wheel so many times, but sometimes I still find that really confusing. So I subscribe to books that discuss colors. They're not very cheap books, but they're books out there that will help you to discuss or to kind of have a feel of the colors that work together. So if you were to create a whole palette of interior design or clothing line, you should use these colors that work together. And I think that's really helpful for me. I use a lot of samples that are out. When you're running your own business, you kind of need to outsource the things that you don't know, because that makes your business strong. That means you're not weak in any area. The other thing to think about when you're running a business is packaging. There's so many different types of packaging. Well, you can come into packaging later. You've got envelopes, paper bags, how are you going to ship outerwear to your customers? Recently, my husband bought a jacket from Ted Baker, and I thought it was brilliant the way they sent the jacket. It came in a hanger, and the hanger was hooked to one side of the box, so that even if the box were to go upside down and move around, the coat won't move around too much. So it arrived in one piece, and it was in a nice box, and I thought the packaging was just really brilliantly done for this jacket. Whereas if you were to buy the same jacket from Zara, for instance, they would fold it in paper and put it in a plastic and just send it to you, and then you'd have to iron it, fluff it up too. Packaging is important. It's how you make a customer feel, because we know we watch unboxing videos all the time. We know that unboxing experience itself for a customer is very, very important. You have to think about packaging as well, but packaging is not something that you need to get so bogged down to the detail, like to the T at this point in your brand. There's still so much more to think and to have on paper before you start your brand. So leave packaging to later. And then you need to think about interior. Create a mood board of your aesthetic. How would you like the interior of your store to look like? Whether it's a brick and mortar store or an online store, you must have an aesthetic of what it is. When I mentioned West Elm and Pottery Barn, you immediately know that these two brands have a very different aesthetic. Pottery Barn is country and West Elm is mid-century modern. So you know they both have very different aesthetics already. Pick out images from Pinterest and then put it together on a mood board and have that and keep it aside for right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot of value from it. If you did get any value from it at all, then definitely hit the like button down below. I'd appreciate that very much. If you like this video and like to learn more, next week we're doing product development. We're gonna talk about how to develop a product. I'm sorry about that light, it's got its own mind, it's doing its own thing. We're gonna do product development next week, and I hope you will watch me next week. I hope you have a great week ahead, a great weekend, and a super great day. Thank you. Bye.